Hello and welcome to the Melrose Minute. I'm Mayor Jen Grigoraitis, bringing you news you can use from City Hall. I'm joined today by Deputy Director of DPW, Jim Troup. Welcome, Jim. Thanks for being here.
Appreciate being here.
And today we're going to talk about something that many people in Melrose are very passionate about, snow and ice. So it's February. We're feeling like maybe we're halfway through winter, but we really wanted to talk about what do snow operations look like for the city. So can you tell us what happens when you open that forecast and it looks like there's a storm ahead?
Sure. When I hear the word snow, I want to run to our command center at the DPW. But, you know, a lot of people think that we're just 24 hours out, but that's not the case. We're looking 10 days out, 7 days out, gathering the information, and then presenting it to all the city's stakeholders, decision makers, letting them be prepared to make a decision on closures, delays. And then we also want to get our team ready to fight the storm when it finally hits. So it's a long process.
It is a long process. As somebody who is on the receiving end of the Stormwatch Troop emails, I can tell folks that those start many days before the storm and start to increase in frequency as things get close, so that we can make a decision. And you mentioned that we want to get our team prepared, and our team is more than just the folks on our payroll. So can you talk a little bit about how many people are involved in our snow removal operation?
Correct, yeah. So as part of the DPW's operation to fight snow, we have contracted vendors as well as our own equipment. It's about a 50-50 split, and to put things in perspective, we have roughly 40 pieces of equipment of our own DPW city-owned equipment that we put out in storms, and then it's about 40 pieces of contracted equipment. That process starts, believe it or not, in September, trying to solicit people to come in, provide their equipment to the city so that they can deliver those critical services through the winter. So for the most part, 80 pieces of equipment, that's a little bit down, so it makes a little bit of challenges in all the different routes that we have throughout the city.
Okay, so 80 pieces of equipment, and we're thinking about it pretty much all year round, whether it's snowing or not.
We definitely are. We're always assessing rates. We're always assessing the numbers. We're also trying to get new people to come in to provide the services. It just helps us, and it also provides better services to the residents.
Well, we appreciate that. And so let's talk about the forecast is right. There's a storm here. We've moved into active storm response. What does that look like for you as the head of storm operations?
Yeah, so the pre-treatment of the roads will start well before the precipitation starts. We want to get salt on the roads, let the salt do its work, be ground into the roads, and then to help burn the snow as it hits. Once we know that we're going to see an accumulating precipitation, we will have an all-in event, which means that we will have all of our equipment, all of our drivers, all of our laborers, as well as contracted vendors come in to fight the storm. Contractors will not be called in until there's going to be a forecasted 3 inches. And the reason for that is that's a roughly $5,000 an hour cost to the city. And at a minimum, we're going to spend roughly $20,000 to have the contractors come in at any given time. So we have to give serious consideration, and we do not want to sacrifice safety for the residents if they're going to be out and on the roads. Once the storm hits, everybody will have an assigned route, whether it's 6 routes spread throughout the city strategically, or if it's going to be one of 30 routes that we have divided in terms of neighborhoods, areas around schools, up and down main streets, and what have you. And everybody's going to be assigned to a particular route throughout the city.
Okay, great. So big expense, big response, always that balance between making sure we are delivering services. Safety is the utmost concern, but it doesn't come cheap. So
It doesn't.
That's a big
Correct.
effort. And once we've gone from active storm response to cleanup, what does that look like for the city?
So I think what we want to understand is our priority in the city is we want to clear the roads first and then move to our sidewalks. We want to make sure that it's safe for the students to walk to schools, elementaries, the middle school, the high school. And sometimes it might be a little bit delayed in terms of getting the sidewalks done. We want to get our streets open first. At that point, we'll deploy our sidewalk routes, make sure that everything is opened up for the schools so that they don't have to experience a delay. Once that's over, it really comes down to our admin team fielding calls and requests from the residents for a little bit of cleanup, whether it's street corners, intersections, crosswalks, you name it. We're responding to some routine cleanup maintenance throughout the city and each of the neighborhoods, but also resident requests for things that may or may not have been missed through the course of a storm.
And what's the best way for residents to get in touch with DPW when there's been a missed area or an area of concern as it relates to storm cleanup?
Yeah, it's important to know that the city yard and our command center will be open during major storms in terms of phone calls. So the best way to get in touch with us is to dial the 781-665-0142. Somebody will answer, take down where a specific request is needed, and then dispatch accordingly.
Okay, great. We will make sure that that number gets out to residents. And can you tell us a little bit about anything you wish residents knew about snow removal or ways that they can help? Because it really is a team effort to get us up and running again after a storm.
Yeah, it definitely is a team effort. And I think the people need to know that it's not our intent to miss or forget anything. But in the heat of a storm, if it's a 24-hour, 36-hour storm, the same people are working for those 36 hours. So to promote safety, they may not be out on the road for the entire 36 hours. So we're just asking that people do their parts to help clean the sidewalks, help clean any areas in the neighborhoods that they feel that they could help us, and maybe take ownership of that neighborhood. We're always there to help. All we just need is a phone call, and we appreciate all the support and assistance that we can get in the middle of a storm.
Great. And are there any interesting facts or pieces of data about snow removal in Melrose that you think people would be interested to know about?
Well, on the negative side of things, the cost of a storm is roughly $20,000 an hour. So that sometimes is a mind-boggling number to have to consider. So we make a lot of decisions to try to make sure that there's value for that number. We roughly use about 1,000 tons of salt in a storm. We will burn through roughly 1,000 gallons of fuel for our equipment. And the bottom line is it's not out of the question that we will have people working for 24 or 48 hours straight. And we have a very committed staff, a very committed crew that are looking to do a good job and to provide a good service.
And I have seen them firsthand. They are working hard. They are there all night with you, going out, deploying, being ready to get the roads and the sidewalks clear for the next day. I know so much is driven by the ability to make sure that schools are open and that you and the superintendent are in communication often in the middle of the night as we prepare to make decisions about delays and closures and openings. So thank you for what you do. It really is a 24/7 job, especially in the winter, and I know the residents really appreciate knowing that you're leading the efforts to keep us all safe. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. We enjoy it.